Welcome to Central News for Monday, 24th of June. I'm Amy Forrest. In today's news, PathLab has become the first pathology service in New Zealand to install a state-of-the-art tracking system in its laboratories to help prevent surgical specimens from being mixed up and patients receiving the wrong diagnosis. The Cerebro specimen tracking system improves patient safety by electronically monitoring each sample as it passes through the lab rather than relying on staff members to manually check its identification. Dr. Richard Massey, Director of Pathology Associates Limited, says New Zealand laboratories operate to a very high standard and mistakes are rare, but the nature of processing pathology specimens is vulnerable to human error.
The Cerebro system brings into the tissue laboratory all the benefits that computer-based specimen tracking can give, as seen in other parts of the laboratory.
Mount Maunganui bars could have their opening hours extended by 2 hours as part of the local alcohol policy that will govern drinking rules in both the Western Bay of Plenty and Tauranga City. The current closure times for Mount Maunganui bars is 1 a.m, while Tauranga bars already stay open until 3 a.m. Councillors hope the new sub-regional closing time would prevent the late-night migration of Mount drinkers into the city for another 2 hours of drinking. Area Prevention Manager for the Western Bay of Plenty Police, Carl Wright Sinclair, says from a policing perspective there are no benefits to opening bars longer.
Well, from a policing point of view, the longer premises are open, the more alcohol-related harm that we have to deal with. So our view is that we wouldn't support increased licensing hours in Mount Maunganui.
A business delegation from Te Puke is visiting China to sell the area's attractions for tourists and as a site for setting up business. The flying visit by Te Puke Economic Development Group Managing Director Mark Boyle and Kiwi 360 Managing Director Graham Crossman will see the pair meet with Tourism New Zealand's 8 preferred Shanghai-based travel partners and to promote Te Puke's Goodness Grows Here brand as a superfood centre. The area rebranded under the Goodness banner earlier this year to capture the area's special character to help attract international visitors and businesses to set up in the area. Mark Boyle says the Chinese understand Zespri and Comvita, they understand kiwi fruit and understand Manuka honey. So with us bringing that together, we can take it that step further and get them inside the story. Dedicating more than 12 years to volunteering for multiple community organisations has won 70-year-old Sandra Gilligan the 2013 Western Bay of Plenty Volunteer Excellence Award. As part of Volunteer Awareness Week, the Burita resident was recognised for her selfless efforts at the Eves Realty Volunteer of the Year Awards on Monday at the historic village. Sandra was nominated by Breast Cancer Support Service Trust, where she has volunteered since 2001, following her own battle with breast cancer. She also volunteers for numerous programs including Maryvale School's Kickstart Breakfast program, the St Vincent de Paul Full Stop program and the Cambodia Charitable Trust. On winning the award, Sandra says it is humbling and a real surprise. In less than 50 years, the University of Waikato has grown into a world-leading institution with the potential to become a future global leader. That's the view of Phil Beatty, the editor of the Times Higher Education University Ranking publication, which has just confirmed the University of Waikato is among the world's top 50 tertiary institutions under 50 years old. Its 46th spot in the latest rankings is an improvement of 12 places on 2012. A result University of Waikato Vice-Chancellor Professor Roy Crawford says is a huge achievement and further confirmation the university is making its presence felt on the world stage. The new ranking showed the University of Waikato's focus on sustained improvement was paying dividends, and Professor Crawford thanked all staff for their continued commitment. A close encounter with Earth saw a larger than usual moon in the sky last night. Scientists are calling it the supermoon. A supermoon occurs when a full moon coincides with its lunar perigee, the closest approach the moon makes to the Earth, making the moon appear larger than any other time this year. Scientists say the moon should have appeared about 10% larger than normal. The moon's orbit is reported to be oval and reaches its closest point to Earth a number of times, appearing a little bigger in the sky and a little brighter. The last supermoon was March 2012. Now for our region's weather. Hamilton, your Tuesday will have cloudy periods and a southwesterly. Your expected high is 14 and an overnight low of 5. Tauranga, your Tuesday will be fine, not a cloud in the sky, but that does mean a cold morning frost. Your expected high is 15 and an overnight low of 6. Just ahead, the Wedding Expo. Welcome to Central News on TV Central. While planning a wedding can be an exciting journey, it can also be a very stressful one too. Hilary Entwistle found out about the upcoming Waikato Wedding Expo to help with the pressure of planning the big day.
So tell us about this upcoming event.
The Waikato Wedding Expo is an annual event. It's held at the last Sunday of June every year. We utilise the whole of the Hamilton Gardens Pavilion, and we bring together exhibitors from all over the Waikato to show their wares.
So how can this event help those planning a wedding?
We actually bring a large array of exhibitors under the one roof, so the bride and groom can come in and talk to the different exhibitors, work out who they like, different personalities, and whether their service actually suits them or whether they should find another exhibitor to run with.
How has the planning of weddings grown over the years, and why do you think that is?
Over the last few years, there's just so many different services which weren't available in the past, so it's really good now that all these different services are available in the one spot.
What can those who attend expect to enjoy?
We've got a great range of products and services, and there's a chance to win prizes. We've got the More FM lockbox, which has lots of prizes donated by the different exhibitors. So you just get a key and you get the chance to open the box just for being at the expo, as well as a lot of the exhibitors have got on-site promotions as well. So,
what range of businesses will you have on the day?
oh, there's a huge range, everything from suits to bridal gowns to lingerie. We've also got florists, venues, caterers, so basically everything you'd expect to find for your wedding.
Who are your main sponsors?
We've got Harvey World Travel. They've sponsored the trip to Fiji for 2 people. It's valued up to $3,000. And also More FM. They've been great supporters over the years, so they've been our 2 main sponsors.
How can viewers find out more information?
Just go to our website, weddingexpo.net.nz.
And tell us about the big prize.
The big prize. Well, thanks to Lynn from Harvey World Travel Dinsdale, we've got a trip for 2 to Fiji, valued up to $3,000. That includes airfares and accommodation. So you'll be able to go away on your honeymoon and have a great time.
And Windy Ridge have also come on board as well.
Yes. Well, there's a free engagement party valued up to $4,000. You've just got to go to their site and register on the day to be in the chance to win.
Up next, glaucoma awareness. Welcome back. The month of July signals Glaucoma Awareness Month, spreading awareness of this optic nerve disease. We caught up with Dr. Sam Kane, an ophthalmologist in the Bay of Plenty, to find out more. Hi Sam. Now, first of all, tell me, what is glaucoma?
Well, I mean, glaucoma is a group of conditions, diseases really, that cause a gradual creeping sort of blindness for people. It usually takes a long time to lose all the vision. And the strange thing about it for people who have it is that they're not usually aware that anything's going wrong. They're not usually aware that their vision is being lost. Their brain plays a sort of a trick on them. By the time they notice the vision is gone, it's usually gone a long way.
So what are the statistics? How many New Zealanders does this affect each year?
It's a big problem in New Zealand. We have tens of thousands of people who are affected with glaucoma. Most of them probably don't know they even have it because it has so few symptoms.
Okay, so is there a way that these statistics can be minimalised or prevented?
Well, we can't stop people from developing glaucoma, but in most cases, but we can stop them from going blind from glaucoma. So really the way to minimise all the bad statistics is just to encourage people to get out and get tested so that we can pick up their glaucoma at an early stage.
So are there symptoms that people should be looking out for?
Well, as I said, most people don't notice anything, but in the advanced stages you can suddenly notice that things are appearing as if from nowhere. You might start knocking into things which you hadn't noticed. Very occasionally it will affect the central vision, so you might notice blurriness of your vision.
Okay, and is it curable?
It's not curable in the sense that you can take a pill and magically have all your vision restored, but it's very preventable, so the blindness is preventable. The key thing is to get diagnosed early, and if you do that, then by and large, people don't really have any significant vision problems. The treatment's easy. Most people get by with one eye drop a day, and that's usually good enough to prevent any vision loss.
Okay, so who should be tested for glaucoma?
We would like everyone to be tested by the time they're 45 to visit either their optometrist, their GP or their eye surgeon to get tested by the time they're 45, and then about every 5 years after that until the age of 60, and then more frequently, as often as every 3 years. If you're there are some people who will need to be tested more frequently than that, but that would be a great start.
Okay, so is the disease hereditary?
It's more common in families who have the disease. So if your parents or your brothers or sisters have a glaucoma, then you're much more likely to develop it than someone who, say, doesn't have it in their family. Having said that, it's extremely common to not have a family history, or at least not to know you've got a family history of glaucoma. So pretty much everyone needs to be tested.
Okay, and you mentioned there was a treatment, the eye drops. Is there any other treatments for it as well?
There are lots of other treatments. Most people who start treatment will start on a simple eye drop. But if we need to, we can use laser treatment, and in some cases we'll go and use surgery when that's required.
Okay. Now, Glaucoma Awareness Month is coming up in July. Can you tell us a little bit about the month that's coming up?
July is our big month in Glaucoma New Zealand. We are really trying to get the message out to get people to go and get their eyes tested. We spend a lot of money educating the public and health professionals through the year, and July is our big month to try and get some money so that we can keep spending.
Okay, so what will be happening around the region?
Well, people will notice some advertisements in local media, paper, television, and through the towns there'll be posters and signs up at their optometrists and other people who are participating in the campaign. People will see donation boxes around, and we'd be grateful for any donations. And generally just we're trying to get the message out.
Okay. So is there another way that people can get involved as well and help spread the word?
Yeah, we would like people to look at our website, so that's glaucoma.org.nz. There's also an 0800 number on the website, so people can have a look on the website and see what we're up to, what meetings are happening, and there's a lot of information on that site about glaucoma.
So does glaucoma affect men and women differently?
Both men and women are affected equally by glaucoma. Certain different ethnic groups are affected with different types of glaucoma, but it's still a problem across all ethnic groups, basically.
Okay, and what about lifestyle? You know, smoking, drinking, all those things, do they affect the chances of getting glaucoma or even the chance of worsening?
Well, generally, if you're in good shape, we expect your eyes to have have a better chance. Smoking is a little bit of a mixed picture, but generally it's bad for you, so we would expect everyone to stop smoking immediately.
Okay, so what about the old rule that our parents used to make us eat our carrots for our eyesight? What do you think of that rule?
Well, unfortunately for everyone's mum, carrots probably don't make much difference to glaucoma.
So all those years of eating carrots didn't help.
Yeah. Well, they probably helped in other ways.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much for coming in today.
That's right, it's a pleasure.
For more information, contact the free glaucoma advisory line on 0800 452 826. After the break, St John Appeal Week. If you have just joined us, welcome to Central News. This week is St John Appeal Week, and Hilary Entwistle caught up with them to find out all things St John.
So Jeremy, people quite often forget that you guys are a charity. How much of your funding is from this Appeal Week?
St John Week's a really important week for us. We do raise a significant amount of funding during this week. To give you an example, locally, over the last 2 or 3 years, we've raised between $5,000 and $8,000 each year.
Do you receive any government funding?
Yes, we do. To provide the ambulance service for New Zealand, we've provided funding from both ACC and the Ministry of Health, and also we get funding from the contracts that we have with the DHBs for inter-hospital transfer services. The level of funding that we receive is about 80% of what it costs to run the ambulance service. So that's why we are hugely reliant on public support to continue to provide the level of ambulance service that we currently do.
Your main service is the ambulance, so what is an ambulance equipped to do?
An ambulance, a frontline ambulance is equipped with essential life-saving equipment. So we have trained personnel, and we have the equipment such as a defibrillator, monitoring equipment, the basic bandages and splints, and medications, frontline medications for life-threatening conditions and situations.
Because rescue helicopters are basically mobile ICU units, are St John Ambulance the same, or are they kind of a step down?
No, we carry very similar, because St John paramedics also respond in the rescue helicopter, and we have similar equipment in the helicopter as we do in our frontline ambulances.
When should we call 111?
Public need to call 111 when in an urgent event of a medical emergency or an accident, and just if they're unsure, it's better to call St John, call 111 for it. We can give advice on whether an ambulance is required or not.
Are St John's paramedics volunteers?
No, we do have a mixture of staff. We have full-time paid staff, plus we have staff that volunteer for us. They all go through similar training, and in the larger urban areas, most of the staff, the majority of staff are paid full-time ambulance officers. And as we move more out into the rural areas and the remote areas, we've become more reliant on volunteers to staff our ambulances.
Now, St John's isn't just about the ambulance, so tell us about all the other services that you guys have. Let's start with the medical alarms.
St John provide medical alarms. So this is an important, quite a sophisticated piece of equipment, and it allows people to retain their independence at home, especially elderly people that live alone. And they may have some illnesses or disability, or just live alone, or their families are worried about them living alone. So this just gives that security. They can have a bracelet or a pendant, and should they require help and not be able to get to the phone, they can push the button, and then they will be in direct contact with St John.
And what about your youth programs?
Yeah, we have quite a large youth program, and this ranges between ages 6 and through to 18. And just locally, we have 5 youth divisions. 3 of them meet out of the Tauranga facility here, and 2 from Mount Maunganui. So our youngest are the 6 to 8-year-olds. They're called the Penguins, and they learn skills and become proficient, including first aid, and they work towards gaining 9 badges that they sew on their uniform. And then from ages 8 through to 18, they go on to cadets, and they work towards a Grand Prize badge and learning leadership skills and also first aid.
And what about some of your community programs?
Yeah, we have a number of community programs that are giving programs to the community. We have our FEDS, and that stands for Friends of the Emergency Department. They're all volunteers, and in the emergency department, as everyone knows, it's very busy, and the nurses and doctors are busy doing their jobs. Their feds provide some company for people, especially if they're up there without their families and they're waiting, saying for an X-ray or waiting. So our feds will just ensure that they're all right and spend some time with them, trying to relieve some of that anxiety of being in an emergency department.
First aid training is a biggie for St John's, and now we can take courses in the Mount. So tell us about that new service.
That's right. We have a range of first aid courses, right through from a 2-hour CPR course through to advanced workplace first aid. We run them from Tauranga here and from Mount Maunganui. So Mount Maunganui is a new venue that we've been running them from, just to give some options for people. Also, we've developed an online refresher now, so people can do their first aid refresher online.
How much are courses, and where can we find out about first aid training?
You can find out everything you need to know about St John, including the training, either by ringing 0800 St John or by visiting our website, which is www.stjohn.org.nz.
What is first aid?
First aid is that really important initial aid that's given to a person that's suffering a medical event or an accident, and it's the first person on the scene that provides that first aid, and sometimes essentially life-saving first aid, in an example of providing CPR until an ambulance gets there with a defibrillator.
If we do come across an emergency and we've called 111 and we're waiting for the ambulance, what should we do?
Okay, the important thing is firstly to answer all of the questions and listen really carefully to what the call taker is asking. That's key information for us as responding to that incident about getting there and what's happening. They will also provide information for you what to do until the ambulance gets there, and then also, if you know first aid is providing first aid for the patient until we arrive.
So what is our ABC?
ABC stands for airway, breathing, circulation, and that's, they're some of the most important things to do. In the worst cases, they're the most important things to focus on in providing first aid, is ensuring someone's got an airway, that they're breathing, and that they have circulation.
Can you tell us about those other community services?
St John provides a number of services. Two that I haven't mentioned previously are the health shuttle. So that's for non-urgent transport. We have vehicles going around taking people to their hospital appointments and specialist appointments, and these are people that have genuine transport difficulties, so would maybe miss that appointment because of that. So it's a free service. They can make bookings and we'll go and pick them up, take them to the appointment and take them home again. And the other service is a caring caller. We know there's people out there in the community that are isolated and don't have family networks and don't have much contact. So we have volunteers, and they're not medically trained, but they commit to calling these people on a regular basis, usually about once a day, just to check they're okay, just so that someone's in contact with them, they have someone to talk to, and so they feel they've got good, some contact.
You can donate to the St John by visiting their website or keep an eye out for the street collectors. That is the news for today. We really want you to be involved, so like us on Facebook and let us know your views. If you have any news, including your own video or photos, go to our website and hit upload. Thanks for joining us. I will be back tomorrow with more guests from in and around the regions. I'm Amy Forrest. Have a lovely evening.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.